come over here. And look up there. Stand up on the combing.
Oh.
And look where we're sailing.
It's not ugly. It's pretty.
It's very pretty.
Just cut into our deck right here.
Yeah, so this is Jordan. He met Desiree on a super yacht. He was an engineer, she was a stewardess. And yeah, they've bought this real piece of crap sailboat, but he's fixing it up. And I mean, I think I'd like to fix up a sailboat. I don't necessarily want to buy one.
Just to have a project.
Right, so it would be cool to have a project, but we're not buying a boat.
Okay.
And that's what this sandwich construction does.
Hiking, or even driving, they don't just have all their gear in the gear places. It takes determination, patience, hard work, but most importantly, it takes a decision to start. To achieve any goal in
So
life,
these guys
requires
are
steps.
Dan and
Once
Kika.
again,
Dan's from Canada, Kika's from Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
a
They
friend
met
once
in-
gave us wise
oh.
advice. He said, don't buy a couch.
Oh.
At first we were confused about
So,
this so-called
They
advice.
met in architecture school and they even worked as architects for a little while. But they weren't happy, so they sold everything they had and bought this sailboat, and now they're sailing around the world, which is pretty cool.
Pretty cool. We're not buying a boat.
We're not buying a boat. No, we're not buying a boat.
Yes, like everyone else.
Today, because our captain and sailing instructor is coming aboard for orientation.
So who's these guys?
It's Jason and Nikki. They're Gone with the Winds. They've just finished spending a bunch of time taking a motorhome all over North America, and now they've sold that and they've bought a catamaran. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We haven't used these in so long.
Yeah.
And they're learning how to sail here with an instructor.
Yes, great.
Jennifer, our instructor,
And captain.
just left
So that's pretty cool.
after giving us the
Yeah.
orientation, the layout.
We're not gonna buy a boat.
Okay, we're not going to buy a boat, but it's pretty cool.
5 days of sailing, 6 days of school, and if we're lucky, if the weather.
Pick up our voices a little more.
Oh, okay. It's not ugly.
It's not ugly.
The start of this sail was ideal. The seas were flat, our sails were flat. And as cliche as it was, we were literally sailing into the sunset. Life seemed just enough. But
I like sunsets.
Yeah, I like sunsets too. They're gorgeous. But we're not buying a boat.
We're not buying a boat.
We're not buying a boat, but gorgeous sunset.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I can do this.
You can do this? You've decided? This is the moment you decided.
No.
No.
Yeah, when I was looking at boats. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, we kept watching these silly YouTube things saying we're not going to buy a boat. And then John came home one day, and I was on the computer, and I was looking at boats, and he went, "We're buying a boat!"
I'm on the water, man.
So we're buying a boat.
Yeah. Sorry.
So we're buying a boat.
Yeah.
So that is how we went from saying we're not buying a boat to sitting on the boat that we own now.
Yeah, we bought a boat.
We bought a boat. You probably saw that, the footage of Donna telling that story to the people on board the boat. That was this boat that we purchased, a 1990 Catalina 42-foot, on the sea trial that we went on. And she sailed so lovely.
She did. Yes, we own a boat. Yeah. And we were going to live on the boat. But due to COVID, marinas really aren't allowing liveaboards here in Victoria anyway. And so we ended up buying a condo and a boat. So, yeah, so the plan is we're going to take the boat down south because, you know, even in Victoria, winters in Canada are not fun. They're wet and rainy and yucky here and freaking cold everywhere else. So we would like to go maybe to Mexico, maybe to Hawaii, maybe to Fiji, maybe to we don't know where.
Yeah, oddly Norway is one of the places that appeals to both of us, but that's definitely not a
Not in winter
beach.
time.
No, not in winter time, and it's not a beach destination
No.
for sure.
So yeah, that's our tale.
Yeah. So in upcoming episodes, what we're going to do is show you a tour of the boat so that you can see what she looks like, all the different features that we were looking for. We're going to talk a little bit about the purchase process, but we're definitely not experts, so we're not going to go into too much detail about that. We're going to talk about some of the mountain of boat work that we've been doing, and that's one of the things we've been doing today is boat work. That's why we're kind of sweaty right now. We're going to talk about what it's like to have your boat hauled out of the water and how terrifying it is to have it put back in the water. And then, fingers crossed, we're actually going to get out sailing to destinations. We have been day sailing the boat, and it's been lovely. We've learned a lot by taking her out for 4, 5, 6 hour sails. We're getting much more comfortable with her. We're getting her set up the way we want. But now we need to see what it's like to live on board and to spend more than one night tied up to the dock at the marina.
And by we're going to talk about all these things, John means primarily he's going to talk.
Fair.
I'll put in 2 cents or 3. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
See you next time.